All right, welcome everyone to this meeting of the Association of Cyber Engineers. I am Bronson. I'm your vice president. It's nice to meet all of y'all. Today, I'm going to be telling you guys about databases and SQL injection. Before I do that, though, we have a few announcements. We just finished up an officer meeting, so we've got some exciting stuff to share with you guys. Chief among them, Connor, do you want to stand up and show us your T-shirt?
Oh man.
Isn't it ugly?
We're redesigning the T-shirts, and you're going to help with that. We're going to do a T-shirt design contest.
Graphic design is my passion.
Perfect. So Christina will be sending some stuff out about that in a timely manner. So there will be a reward. We'll figure it out.
We just can't promise the quality.
Basically, the one complaint we have about this, just to kind of give you a guide, binary does not look like that. So if you include binary, which I encourage you to include binary because binary does look cool, just make sure it's in a monospaced font. That's like basically one complaint we have about this. So.
Also, the binary doesn't say something, bonus points.
Oh yeah, bonus points if you make the binary say something. Cool?
Also, I feel like it needs big rows of 8.
All right. Thank you for T-posing in the corner.
We will be checking.
Yes. Second announcement. I sent it in the Discord today, but there is a mentoring program that's happening in collaboration with all of the computer science cyber orgs. So absolutely sign up for that. Be a mentor, be a mentee. I don't care. I kind of do care. If you're like freshman, sophomore, that means mentee. Junior, senior, mentor. If you don't think that fits you, talk to us. Point being, sign up. Link is in the Discord. Third announcement. What was the third announcement? Halloween. So next Monday is Halloween. So, what we're gonna try and do something fun. Basically, we're just gonna have like pizza party, candy, whatever, and we're gonna put a movie, and we're gonna put on a movie, or possibly play video games. Still working on figuring it out. The original plan, before someone suggested video games and screwed it up, was movies. Good job. The original plan was to watch a movie, and we were going to have a vote on what movie that is in the Discord, so keep an eye out for that. Or we may do video games, in which case, I don't know, maybe there's something we'll have to vote on. Whatever. So just fun, just trying to do something fun. We know that some people have Halloween plans. Granted, this is the Cyber Engineering Club, so I'm tempering my expectations on how many of you guys have Halloween plans, but so yeah, that's happening next week. Keep an eye out. Was there anything else? Picture. Yes. Yearbook pictures are a thing, and they're due this Friday. So, once I'm done telling you guys about SQL injection, stay put, because we're going to do a picture. Cool? Cool.
It's the yearbook picture. So if you would
Yeah.
like to be in the yearbook for being with the Association of Cyber Engineers,
Yeah.
stay and you'll get your picture.
Cool. Without further ado then, databases. So, that's not the right key. Databases.
They're illegal.
Databases are not illegal. SQL injection is
Maybe. Sometimes.
typically illegal. So don't do it illegally. Please, we beg you. We will also make fun of you if you do it illegally and get caught. So just don't. What is a database? Basically, it's a collection of structured data stored electronically. What does that mean? That means basically any kind of data that you have that you're going to have a lot of data that follows the same general schema. is something you can put in a database. Think of an Excel file. There is debate, I guess, about whether Excel files are quote-unquote databases. I don't know if anyone's actually arguing they are, but like, think of an Excel file and you'll have an idea of what a database looks like. And yeah, think of data you could put in a spreadsheet. I am getting ahead of myself. Look at me. There are many, 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 many different databases out there. There's MySQL. There's MySQL. There's MariaDB. There's MongoDB, Postgres, Cassandra, Redis.
I use Redis.
Good job. And that's just what I could find on Google in 5 minutes. So, how do we communicate with our databases? Great question. I'm so glad you asked. We use structured query language, which is one of those things in computing that no one can agree on how to pronounce. I've heard SQL. I've heard SQL. Anything else? That's basically, it's kind of a GIF thing sort of thing.
I've heard squirrel.
Squirrel?
Don't look at me.
Okay.
Those are
Squeal. So basically, my policy, just pronounce it however your boss does. Unless it's squirrel. We here at the Association of Cyber Engineers, we're all for brown nosing. So this is a SQL, this is a SQL statement. Basically, you have these keywords, and it's case insensitive, but the convention is that you take any keywords and put them in all caps, and the actual names of things in your database, you lowercase. So this is select name, telephone, and age from customers where age is greater than 21. What does that mean? It means in our database, we have a table called customers. That table has columns. One of those columns is called name. One of those columns is telephone. One of those columns is age. It may have many, many more columns, but for now we only care about name, age, and telephone. And we are taking all of the entries from customers, spitting out their name, telephone, and age, and filtering that out but with the statement, age is greater than 21. So we're going into our list of customers, filtering out all of the ones who can drink, and spitting out their name, telephone, and age. Cool? Cool. So databases are also how a lot of, in fact, pretty much all web apps store user data, user authentication data, I mean. So like last week, I told you guys about hashing, and I mentioned that hashed passwords are what you keep in a database. Well, here we are. So when I want to log in to some kind of web application, I put in my username, I put in my password, and that gets fed into a SQL query that says, find me the person whose username is whatever he put in, and whose password is the hashed form of whatever he put in as a password.
We hope.
We hope. We hope it's hashed. Point is, yeah, you are, and that's literally just string manipulation. So in their program that they have running on their server, they're saying take whatever the user provided to us, stick it in these quotes, and take whatever password the user provided to us, stick it in these quotes, and send that query to the server. So you can probably start to see where this goes wrong, because if we're just trusting implicitly what the user is giving us, we're pretty dumb. So, okay. So let's say I say my username is close quote or 1 = 1 semicolon dash dash. I'm a very creative internet user, and I don't know what the joke was there. Well, now my database is going to say, or now my program is going to send this query to the database. It's going to say, select those columns from users where the username is a blank string or 1 equals 1. And then this dash is a comment. SQL is a programming language just like anything else, so it has a comment. And it's going to comment out everything after what you just put in. So, if it clicks, so this is what gets sent to the database. So now it's going to go through my user list, and it's going to, for every entry in my user list, is it going to say, okay, is the username an empty string? No. But does 1 equal 1? Yeah? Let's send that user back. Exactly. So, obviously this means that you can get this data back, which is not good. But this also means that if you have a web application that authenticates you this way, meaning it will send this query to the database, and if the database returns that there is an entry there, that's how it says, okay, that's a valid user, let's go. And you're in. So, that brings us to our demo. So, this demo is going to be a little weird because you may not be able to follow along. If you want to follow along on this demo, I need you to download Docker, which I will show you very shortly. Oh yeah, this is someone's car. So the idea of this is they drive by a speed camera, and that gets read as the license plate number, and they have a semicolon here, and they drop the database.
Which deletes everything.
Which deletes everything. So that's fun. Just a fun little thing we were joking about. So, if you want to follow along on this demo, go ahead and head to docker.com, download Docker Desktop, and that's a pretty standard installation. You'll have to click next several times. Huh?
No, it says Docker plus Wasm. I didn't know that. Is it WebAssembly?
Yeah. So, I already have Docker downloaded, so I'm going to bring over my terminal. We will talk about Docker at some point in the future because it's very cool and it is a topic for another meeting. Okay, so what is it called? SQL. Make directory. Okay, so I'm going to download, if I can find my notes, because I'm very prepared. So while you're all installing Docker, I'm going to get my life together. This was planned. I'm giving you time. I'm a professional. Okay, so in order to host our demo, and what I'm having you do is I'm having you host a web app on your computer. So if you're not comfortable with that, don't. But I'm going to paste in this Docker command, and that will pull the image for the juice shop, which is it is a pre-made web application that is intentionally vulnerable to several common web vulnerabilities for training and testing purposes, like what we're doing here. So I'm going to pull that, download it, and don't worry, it'll only be accessible to you on your personal computer, so no one's going to be hacking you while this is up.
Although it would be really funny if they did.
It would. No, it wouldn't. It would not.
What I mean, no.
Yeah. All right. It's going to take its sweet time. Yeah. I deleted the image because I wanted to experience downloading it along with you guys. So I didn't get too far ahead. I'm now regretting that because I'm impatient. Okay, here we go. So now the image, we have the image, and in order to run the image, we are going, oh, I should be pasting these in Discord as well. Meeting notes. I am pasting these commands in Discord. Okay, so I'm going to run this second command, which will actually run that image on my machine. And that'll set up, and once it says port 3000 is available, that means it's all set up and running. So,
Well, really, it's all set up.
yeah. Oh, listening, that's what it is. Whenever it says server listening. All right. So, now, if I go to in my web browser and I pull up 127, or actually no, I'll do localhost. Localhost :3000. This is my web app that I am hosting on my machine. It's very nice. It's a juice shop. I can buy juice. Anyone want some juice? Cool.
I like that the JS at the top right is the juice card.
It is, it's the actual JS.
Yeah. All right, so
We need the best juice salesman.
So, you'll notice that this juice shop has a place where I can log in.
Wow.
Now, who wants to take a wager? I wager that whoever set up this juice shop set up an admin account. And that's the first account that pops up in their database.
Admin password.
I mean, honestly, let's try it.
What's his email?
Yeah, no. So, but let's try, because remember, if we go back to, oh, did I close it out? I closed it. If we go back to,
Oh, you mean, you're just saying if there's already
yeah,
a login on it?
yeah. So there is a login in the database. There is a user credentials in the database that belong to the administrator. I don't know why I said that like that. That belong to the administrator. And I'm taking a bet that that is the first user that was ever registered on this website. So, if we go back to, where would it go? If we think about something like this, let's see. Let's see what happens. So if I paste in, if my username is, so that's single quote, space, or 1 = 1, semicolon, dash, dash. I am the admin. So, what just happened for those that weren't, what just happened was, when I try to log into this website, it takes my username and my password that I enter, inserts them into a SQL query, and sends that to the database, and if the database returns that that is a valid user, it logs me in as that valid user. So what happened here was I sent a query to the database that said, hey, buddy, send me any users that have the username empty string, or where for that user, 1 equals 1. And so it sent back every user, and the first user listed there was the admin, so I got logged in as the admin.
Wow.
Isn't that fun? But that's not all. Okay, so, trying to figure out how I want to manage this. So, let's search for something, shall we? Let's see do they have orange juice? Ah, they do sell orange juice. Isn't that nice?
That is pretty cool.
Let's look at my network traffic when I search for orange juice. Oh, and I need to search for orange juice yet again.
Wow, that has it on.
Okay, here we go. So this is every HTTP request that's being sent out. Are you guys able to see that at all?
Yeah.
Enough.
Okay, cool.
Like the very corner.
All right.
It goes in the back. Can y'all see it? Down ahead?
Yeah. Can I zoom? I can zoom the website.
Very good.
Very easy.
Okay.
Click over into over there. And
I will just narrate very descriptively. So, way down here, one of these looks interesting. This is the actual search query. This is the web request that was sent to actually request search results that it would then display. And so I see that that's sending a request to the /rest/products/search URL. And it's tacking on this little thing at the end, $Q equals. What that means is HTTP requests have like parameters that you can add on to them. So in addition to requesting like a page, you can say, send me that page with these arguments. So that means that my Q argument most likely stands for query. What's up, Colin?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Does HTTPS also have those queries?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. The only difference between HTTP and HTTPS is HTTPS is secured. It is secured in transit. So everything else is functionally the same. So yes, this also exists in HTTPS. But we can have fun with this, because I bet if what was it? It was REST. If I go to my website /rest/products/ what was it? Search. Okay. And I say that my query equals, so that's localhost port 3000 /rest/products/search $Q equals, and now I can have fun. So I'm going to close I'm going to close quote. I'm going to send a semicolon. So close the quote in the statement. I'm willing to bet that that's going to be invalid syntax. And it is. That's invalid, yeah, see, syntax error. But now we know something interesting. SQLite. Now we know something interesting. We're using SQLite on our back end. SQLite is, I mentioned, like the 16 different database systems. That's one of them. It's special because it saves things to like a local file instead of doing some like weird other trickery. But we can do something with this, because now that we know SQLite, let's look up SQLite. And I'm going to skip the part where I look up SQLite, and I'm just going to click the link that's in my notes. That is an ugly FAQ page.
Yeah.
but it is an FAQ page.
So that's how you tell it's good software.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Because the programmers made the thing
Yeah.
instead of graphic designers.
Plus, like everything in software design, it's secretly 25 years old, and this website hasn't been updated since.
I don't think that's a secret.
Yeah.
Probably loads pretty fast though.
Okay. So let's look through this a little bit. What is this SQLite schema error, and why am I getting one?
Question.
What's up?
Why did Docker force me to log out of my computer to install it? What are you doing to my computer?
Just Docker things. Okay. I don't know where I should have looked through the documents before I did this, but because I have the answer sheet, I can tell you guys that somewhere in this FAQ page, it says that if I look for SQLite master, it's not there. Somewhere in this FAQ page, it's going to tell you that if you look for the table SQLite master in your database, that is the table where it stores all of the metadata about all of the other data in your database, which is something that would be super cool for us to look at. So, let's look at it. So, I'm going to...
Not to interrupt, what are REST and products?
What?
Well, I guess products is like the table.
Okay, so REST stands for... I don't actually remember what it stands for. Basically, yeah, it's a REST API, which is just a way of saying this is...
It's the pretty standard thing of how you send and receive
Yeah.
HTTP requests.
So this is the URL to use if you are a back-end service trying to access data from our database, basically. And so it's the products API. I'm searching the products API. Blah, 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 blah.
Searching for.
So I'm going to do, and I'm like squinting to look at this on my preview screen. Okay, so let's try something different. Let me close my quote, but instead of semicolon, I'm going to close parentheses. So that's two close parentheses, and I'm gonna start a comment. That's new. That.
Can you control F that?
No, I'm sure I could.
Application Security Awareness board game is
Yeah. So
Steam community.
what's happening?
Raspberry Pi.
So what's happening here is we sent our search API a search that said search for everything. Because it said search for anything that has an empty string in it. So if at some point in this string there are two letters next to each other, let me see that.
Two-shot adversary training.
And so this is JSON. It's a lot to look at, but this is where it starts being really nice to have a terminal, because I can do that same thing that I just did in the command line, so I can start to automate it. So I'm going to open, so don't shut down this, because this is like actually running your server. Open a new folder, and I'm going to ace/SQL. Okay. And I'm going to use the curl command. I mentioned curl offhandedly in the first meeting we had. It's basically for downloading things from HTTP. And so I'm going to make an HTTP request to localhost port 3000, just like we've been doing. And I'm going to /search, or actually, I'm going to be super lazy and just copy this.
Doesn't have tab delete for basically what you're doing?
Not really. Oh, what? That's... Okay, hold on. I'm going to curl that.
And then
And
you're gonna
yeah. And that gives, oh, what is that?
That's the HTML page.
That's HTML, but it should have given me JSON.
Oh, no, it's giving you an error. Unexpected path.
Unexpected path?
Yeah. REST products.
Ew, because this just decided that it's going to escape all of my strings, and I didn't want it to do that. So remove any backslash, you see.
And do you want the percent 27? Okay.
And
Yeah,
then you can run
we
that
will,
correct command.
we will get the percent 27. We could do that, or we could pipe it into, I learned this in Timo's class just the other day, Python tac-m JSON dot tool, and that'll format it into JSON for us. And if I pipe that to a file, if I t that into SQL I dot out, and if I vim SQL I dot out, now we have all of those, every product in the database in JSON format. Which is cool, but we could have gone to the website and just looked at the front page and gotten all the products. So what the hell are we doing here? I'm so glad you asked. We can take that command and change it so that now we don't just want you to search things. We also want you to take that search that you return and union it with data from another table.
Like the master table.
So now I'm going to union that with select star from, and just to test things, just to test the waters out, I'm going to say the table is named X.
Bad illegal format.
Oh, and this is because curl, okay, so side lesson here. URLs don't like it when you send like random characters that aren't, it doesn't like it when you send like asterisks and slashes in the URL as an argument. It expects them formatted into this format, which is basically that's an escape code. So %27 is that closing quote. So the way we get around that is to change our curl command to just the URL we want to search for. We want to make that a GET request, and we want to data URL encode some arguments on top of that. And that's where we paste in that Q equals,
You don't need a question mark?
yeah. That's where we paste in that Q equals this thing. And now, SQLite error, yeah, no such table. Well, we knew that because we just called the table X, but that tells us we're talking to SQLite now. So what if instead of X, we looked at SQLite master? Remember when I looked through the SQLite docs and I found out that SQLite stores all of its data?
Which is definitely something that happened. You definitely looked through it and found it.
Yeah, I definitely looked through the docs very closely. Okay, so new error. Selects to the left and right of union do not have the same number of result columns. Huh? So basically, SQLite is wanting to give us one singular table that just has data from both our tables. But if we have tables with two different numbers of columns, what are we doing? So this is the slightly annoying bit. We have to, in where our columns are, we have to tell it which columns we want. And so we just want one column where all of the data is going to be 1. And we get the same error. And we have to do it again and again and try, okay, now I want column 1 and column 2. It doesn't like that. And again, we try that several times until we finally come upon the correct number of columns, which is in fact, hold on.
Something that should be
Yeah, this is definitely something that should be automated. But here, before I automate it, before I do that, I'm just going to make this into a bash script. Inject. I'm going to bin bash this. So this is, I'm telling the interpreter that I want this, huh?
That really see.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It says /bin/bash. And I'm going to paste in my, oh no, I'm going to write out my curl command, or actually no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go into my notes, because I'm prepared for once. Yeah. And I'm going, and this is my script now. This is basically that same curl command that I showed you guys, except now in that data URL and code, we're saying Q equals $1, which means that when I run this inject.sh script, when I chmod, that changes the permissions on the script so that I actually have permission to run it. So now when I run that script and I give it the thing that I want to inject. No, you don't. Because I own it. Because I own the file, so I can say what permissions the file has.
Now, if you use student, take it away from himself. But
Yeah. So now I can paste this into here, and this will send that curl request where we're asking for 9 columns of data. And now we get something. So let me pipe that into Python 3 tacm json.tool. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to what? T. Hold on.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Y'all were saying there was asbestos?
Yeah.
There's talking about stuff about asbestos. Yeah, right there, asbestos.
Yeah. Asbestos in courtroom surveillance.
All right. There we go. So you can buy T-shirt commemorating some guy who did something with asbestos. Okay, so that's all very fun. But this is what I'm looking for here. So let me do one more thing.
Oh, so that's all their databases.
Yeah, that's all their
Now
data.
you have access
Yeah.
to every
So
single
now I have access to look at all of their databases and what's in them. So I'm going to do something where I go to like the very beginning of what I'm injecting, and I just say that. And now when we're searching for something, nothing's going to match that search. So the only thing that shows up is the second select statement, which is that.
Okay.
And now, but see how this is just saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's because we're telling this select statement, give me, for every entry in this table, give me the string 1. Give me the string 2. So I actually want to find what the column is that I want to get out of this table. And again, because I looked through the docs and know everything there is to know about SQLite, I know that there is a column called SQL that contains the initial SQL statement that was used to create that table. So now I can see that there is a table in here called, and let me, there's a table in here called addresses because someone wrote the create table addresses command. There is a table in here called basket items because someone someone at some point wrote a SQL command that said create table basket items, and that's what created the table basket items. And I can see all of the columns that table has. I can see all of the just all of the parameters that each of those columns has. And if I scroll way down, I saw it when I was scrolling up. If I scroll way, way down, I can see the users table. Ah, that's interesting.
I wonder what's there.
So the users table is going to have an ID column. It's going to have a username column. It's going to have a password column. It's going to have a role column, a customer column, a deluxe token. I don't know what that means. A last login IP.
Get everything about this person.
Yep. And a 2TP secret. .p2. I don't know what that means. Yeah. And the last time they were updated, and if that's a user that's been deleted, the date they were deleted. So I'm just going to note that, yes?
Sorry. Deleted users aren't deleted.
Yeah. Deleted, in this implementation, deleted users aren't deleted, they just have a tag added to them that says deleted. That might be like, it may be some kind of thing where like, oh hey, I accidentally deleted my account, so is there an undelete button?
And they might have that for only like 30 days.
Yeah.
They probably have like, that's probably.
Yeah, they probably have it only keep your account for 30 days in case you want to recover it for some reason.
Small server that I helped run.
Yeah.
Delete that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jot down that the particular columns that are interesting to me are username, password, what was it, last login IP?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to look at role and last login IP.
Including and username and password.
Yeah, that all sounds very interesting.
Those are super interesting things.
Yep. So, meow. Let me go into my same injection script that I just wrote. And now instead of looking for the SQLite master table, let me look at the users table. And I don't want the SQL column. I want username, password, role, and last login IP. Was it a lowercase p?
Yeah.
Okay. You all know, you are all paying so much more attention than I am. And I'm going to have to, again, make sure that the number of columns matches, so that's going to be fun. I'm going to have to do that. Oh, except it just works. So here's all our users.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait, let me,
Admin. Ooh, I like that.
yeah, hold on. Let me do the old one again. Was it not username? It was, yeah, it was username.
Yeah. The ID was not the username.
I guess they don't have usernames?
No, go ahead.
Because this says that, oh, ID, wait, ID and username.
For ID and username.
Okay.
And you got username.
Did I get username? It looked like it was IDs.
Yeah, saying ID.
ID is the
ID is the username,
Okay.
and the name is the ID.
Okay, so what's happening here is we're still looking at the products. Because we're injecting this into the end of a search for products, this is giving the column names of the products, but we know that the first column is their username and the second column is their whatever. So now we just have their hashed passwords, and we can, if we really wanted to, we could write a script to massage this data a little, where we get it into a point where we can feed it into Hashcat or John or something, and now we just have everyone's passwords. In fact, I'm going off script here. I kind of want to see if I can figure out how to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna.
No, not the hashtag off script.
Oh yeah, it is 6:45. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. So,
That's true.
but yeah, so this is very fun and very cool, and you can look at all of their.
Username.
That's just something in. That's just something in Unicode.
Oh, it's a squared. Equals MA squared.
Yeah.
But it's MC squared,
They messed it up like
I
this.
guess. Yep. So, yeah, and some people's IDs are blank. Okay, so what if I,
Because they're customers.
yeah, what if I take out one of these and also get their IDs? Okay, okay, so that's just numbers.
Which number? That's how it was on my server that ran.
Yeah. So each user has an ID number associated with their user and a username. And we can also see the last IP address they joined, which that's not an IP address. So good for them.
They do not store the
So worst brought, okay, so what's the first user? So this is who we logged in at, this is who we logged in as at first.
one.
And it was just an empty, oh wait, you know what? They have email addresses, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, they have, let's look at their email. Where do you see, okay, it's email. So let's look at their emails. Not, okay, so yeah, Stan at Juice Shop. So when we first logged in as that admin, we could have done all of this and just gotten their password, and it's admin at Juice Shop. Cool. Yeah, so that is just a very basic dip your toes into SQL injection lesson. And I leave you with this idea for when you're all grown up and have kids. Any questions?
Bobby tables. You tell them.
Little Bobby tables.
Well, how does one sanitize a database input?
Yeah, so Connor asked a good question. How do you sanitize database input? How do you prevent against this? Basically, a well-written website will, before it sends anything to the SQL server, it will look through that user input and say, okay, are they sending me random close quote characters? That's not part of a username. Why would they do that? I'm going to get rid of that.
You can't have certain special.
Why are there 2 dashes in this username? That's not right. Gone. Or they will escape them, which means that they'll put them into a format that SQL recognizes them as this is part of a string and I want this literal character, not whatever this means in SQL.
Now, usually this isn't good to do by yourself. Usually you want to use like a library or something that's maintained.
Yeah.
But
The
then
other, like,
if you do it by yourself, someone's going to find a way to sneak by.
exactly. The other good defense against this is to use a library that was written by someone more competent than you. And that's actual advice. Like, most people, it's just like last week when I said most companies aren't actually handling passwords themselves, because it would be really stupid if they did, because Google will store all your passwords and they will secure it with their multi-billion-dollar funding for security versus your little tiny startup running on like 2 AWS instances. So this is the same thing. Once again, Google to the rescue has written Angular, which is a web programming framework that also includes, I think, does it include? Or no, Firebase. Yes. Firebase has authentication stuff built into it. So go ahead and just use the thing that Google wrote. Or if you don't like Google, there are others. There are open source stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Mozilla, I think, has one. But yeah, basically, if you ever find yourself programming a website, don't give yourself more work for a less secure alternative. Just use a pre-made library for all this. That's like the actual best advice I can give you. With that out of the way, if there are no further questions, we're going to take a picture for the yearbook. So, yeah, everybody just, that's a great question. We're taking it on my phone, so I can take it. And then that's true.
What if, can we prop it up and do a timer?
That's what I was